Right, let's crack on with the route planning because we need to get going here. So I've punched in IH94 this time. We just keep ticking that number up. LIEO to Leper, as you know. We are flying out 9:20. Let's make that 9:30, just so it has a slightly more accurate takeoff. Run the Phoenix A320. That tail number defaults incorrectly. Jet in is what it is. It looks like runway 23 departure, 24 arrival, which is a shame. That's not the nice approach, unfortunately. 06 approach comes over the bay and you come back and it's much nicer, but it does depend on the winds, right? Had the missus returned, see Trusty? No. So I finished, what time did I finish? About 7:30, I think it was, last night. And then I basically took the dogs for a 45-minute walk because they'd been on their own. Then I fed them. And then I played a bit of Siege, and then Mrs. Squirrel came home, if I remember. Kind of went in that order. Yeah. Right, so let's have a look at the possible routings. Got that one. Yeah, they're all much of a muchness. Not much variation going on. Let's generate that. Benji T, thank you very much for tier 2. 5 years. Happy anniversary, Benji T. Great entertainment and a great community. Thank you so much for supporting me all these years and enjoying the new badge. Okay, preview that. How's the weather over Monte Carlo? I think they were forecasting rain yesterday, but I haven't looked. Well, Numro, obviously, I'm just waiting for Tesla to release their little robot. You know that robot they're building? That'll do all the chores around the house. I'm just waiting for it to release that. And then I'll have it bringing me cups of tea constantly. And then obviously when I get up for a break from streaming, I'll have it sit here and fly the plane. And you can talk to a Tesla bot. That's the plan. Flight level 350, nice. 5.5 tons. It's a high altitude. Pretty favourable winds though. That's the routing today. Let's get rid of that. Let's get the plan into Volanta. Add a flight plan. Imports. There we go. Flight briefing over there. Cool. Jump in the plane. Better start saving money now. They'll probably rent them out. I mean, this is the thing, like, if Tesla make that robot, what price will it be? Like, there's nothing you can look at where you think, oh, the price of that is worth, like, what is it worth? No, have you not seen it, Captain Flynn? It's like a slender, it's very high tech looking. It's white and black. It has like a white body, I think like a black covered face. Looks very high tech. Quite a slender build. Yeah, and they're basically making it to do household chores and things like that. I have no idea what the price would be. It's a guy in a spandex suit. They have no robot. They're working on it, bro. Don't underestimate them. Mass and balance. It's too slim to be a guy, what they showed anyway. Fast load. Robot does the stream, exactly. I could sit on the beach while the robot does all the streaming. Oh yeah, the movie Airplane, they had a good robot, didn't they? The inflatable robot. Wait, what? Did I just click the wrong button? I did. H93. Cost index of 5. Looks like we're gunning it out of here. 350 on the cruise. Flight plan. Departure. What was the weather doing? Is it ever warm enough in the UK to sit on the beach? Yeah. Yeah. What was I doing? I was doing that. 230. That's quite windy, blimey. 1003. Show 1002 here, but never mind. Okay. My flight plan gone. Definitely going out of 2-3. The Ciudad 8 Quebec departure is what we're going for. Pretty much straight out. Look at that. Just straight out, head west. Superior, thank you for 5 months. Bearded Frodo, thank you for 8 months. So what I didn't do. Put my overlay chat up. That done. Yeah, that looks fine to me. We'll deal with the arrival later. Flight plan. Let's see. Let's get Navigraph set up. Import the route. See, Tom, I know you love the 737, but this EFB is pretty darn handy. It's definitely one of the selling points. Airport briefing. Nope, no on that. Find it, and it was. I was looking down the S. I was like, "Where's Sutad Don? It's here." You have to go see that to fly by. All right, have a good one. Have a good one. Yeah, this is a straight out departure. Just like boom. Flight level 095 minimum. Do you like pumpkin pie? I have had pumpkin pie. I did enjoy it. Couldn't eat a lot of it. It wouldn't ever be a go-to thing for me. I don't think. Put it that way. Right, we're expecting Palma runway 24. Probably the Morse 2 kilo arrival, apparently. Let's bring that up. Morse 2 kilo arrival, which looks like that. So over the top of Menorca. Two kilo comes in that way, then looks like we track northbound and then come in that way. Interesting. This has changed. Well, I don't know. I mean, when I flew into Mallorca, they used to bring you straight in over the island and land you, but it kind of looks like you're basically hucking in a dog leg. This could be fun. Almost looks like the Kitech approach. Well, I don't ever remember this approach before. I could be wrong, but we shall see. 1.24 left. That's good. What's the cat one like? Looks like boarding just completed. Yes, indeed it did. $56.5, 31.4. .5 tons boarded. Perf page. Numerophobic, I have a question. How would you know what your grandma's socks taste like? Is that something you've tried? Seems like an odd thing to do. Bearded Frodo, thank you for 8 months. Sensei Johnny, thank you for 10. Classic airplane. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, that, isn't it? Ground services will bring up. Why is the FPS so bad? Because you're probably on the wrong setting on Twitch. Ain't nothing wrong with my FPS, bro. Let's uncage that. Let's have a look. Look, it's going to be one of those mornings, guys, by the look of it. Let's get the APU fired up. Passenger signs can go on. Start the APU. Let's make sure that's in standby. Neutral. Thrust levers idle. Rudder trims on 0. And all in the correct position. Lock is reading correct Zulu time. Gear is fully down and locked. 10,000 is punched in. Flight directors are on. Let's calculate some performance stuff while we wait for that. Dry surface out of 2-3. 1+F. Packs will be on. Sync the load sheet. Sync the weather. Calculate takeoff data. 32, 35, 35. 68. Takeoff data is set. APU is available. Release the ground power, put in the packs. Then we'll flick over to here. And we'll get rid of the GPU chocks and cones. We've got a pushback at all? We do, just get that connected. Okay. Thank you, Ibanez. Right, let's see where we are. Runway 23 is... let's bring Navigraph back. See where we are on the stand. Okay, so we shall push back to the left, taxi down. Golf, hold Alpha. That's what we're looking at. There's also a plane behind us, I think. But so just need to be careful when I push back. Because you've got to do the pushback and the start yourself. Right, beacon light going on. Release the parking brake, start the pushback. Roll to start. You can fly military. You probably better having a look at DCS though, if you want to do military stuff. Okay. Well, I guess he just decided to nope it. For whatever reason, he decided he didn't want to push us back anymore. He's like, see ya, I've got another job. Yeah, his shift was done. Work to rule. Well, yesterday was slightly different, Captain Flint. It kept disconnecting when I was pushing back, but with this one, I've not seen it push you all the way out and then just go, nope. It's almost like I pushed back far enough and it went, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I can only come down to this line here. Very odd. Okay, looks like we've got two good starts. Load selector to normal. Turn off the bleed. Master switch and come off. Right, before taxi checklist. Probe window heat we don't need. Heading indicator, altimeter has been set. Standby instruments. 1002, 3. Definitely on cage, isn't it? Yep. Flight directors are on, auto brake to max. Elevator trim, let's get the flight controls up. Believe it was 0.3 down. Down 0.3, yeah. 1.3 down, just check my controls are definitely working. Full deflection, looks good. Pages up. Yes, they do, abducted llama, they very, very much do. In fact, the airline industry and the use of checklists is what basically the medical industry started to adopt the same thing. They took checklists because checklists make sure you don't forget important things. In any kind of mission critical situation, you have to have checklists for that reason, because people just forget things or they get complacent. Right, tax light going on. Smoking signs, that's all good. We have nothing out of the ordinary. Let's remove the parking brake. Flaps 1, armor spoilers. Jump onto golf here. Microsoft Flights and me tweaking, or is it good optimization? What do you mean by tweaking? There are things that you need to do that are very well documented on the internet, like certain NVIDIA settings that are recommended. Things that you need to do, like turn off your game bar and turn off game mode and hardware acceleration in Windows and things like that. But they're all on the internet, easily findable. And then of course it's down to what settings you choose graphics wise, and again there are YouTube videos on that. LG Max, look at the top of your screen, we are about to depart. Right, let's do a takeoff test. No blue. Going to Mallorca. I don't numberophobic. They had a really good run, but everything has to come to an end, and I kind of felt the last couple of seasons they were getting a bit tired. They were obviously a bit fed up with it. The heart wasn't in it anymore, and there was time to move on, and they moved on in spectacular fashion via Jerry and Clarkson. That's my opinion. Taxi checklist done. Parker brake. 4 takeoff checklist. Parker brake is set. Flight instruments. Engines check. Everything's fine. Takeoff data's been done. Landing lights can come on. Pizza heats on auto. Strobe light. De-ice not required. TA transponder. TARA is set. We are indeed on live weather. It is very windy. Thruster set. No, there's no V1, V2 call out currently. Climb thrust. Autopilot. Quick look back. Whoa, look at the heat blur bending that runway. Look at that. The visual distortion on that. Flaps coming up now. How does it fly? It flies very well, actually. There are a couple of isms I've seen, but nothing major. It's pretty reliable. Plus levers in climb descents. AP's engaged. Taxi lights can come off. It's weird how this island's so incredibly green and full of trees here, and then on that flat bit it's just bone dry and desert like. How weird's that? Bergen Boy, thank you for 2 months, by the way. Alright, standard pressure. Clear ourselves out to 350. I don't know. It's probably something to do with like the local climate. Rain just doesn't fall there for whatever reason. Maybe something to do with these hills. Troy D, thank you for subbing. Welcome, Troy. There's not a lot going on this island. It's very rural. Enjoy your football, LG Max. Lights are off, seatbelt signs are off, let the packs run free, disarm the spoilers, no ECAM memo. We're on our way. This evening, in the stream this evening, I'm going to open that Be Quiet box. I've got the box here. I don't know what's in there. I didn't look at the list of items on the packaging envelope. I think they might have sent me cap, t-shirt maybe. Not sure where else. But we'll open that this evening on the second stream. Jack Fox, thank you for 16 months. Got my new PC with an i9-38, so I can play Microsoft Flight Sim without my OC sounding like it's going to explode. Lol. Yeah, that's a good spec. You'll be fine with that. The Asus video is coming out at 4:30 p.m. today, Captain Flint. I have to warn you, because it was my last Asus video. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do what I want this time, and I'm going to do something fun and a bit different. So rather than stick to the traditional, here's a keyboard, here's all the specs, I just threw all that out the window and we just did something fun and different. So don't expect a run-of-the-mill video. I mean, we could even watch it together at 4:30 if you want. But yeah, don't expect something completely off the wall and nothing like what I normally do. What happened to Asus? They basically, the HQ changed. I think it's a post-COVID thing, right? A lot of companies rethought their strategies after COVID, and they, for whatever reason, decided that in the UK they were going to take a different approach to the way they do things, and yeah, just decided to sort of gracefully end the contract and focus on other things in the UK. I don't think they like to sponsor anybody anymore other than just send equipment and things, but I could be wrong. I've set my own custom ones, I've been in. The problem in this game is a lot of companies, they just want to send you equipment, which is fine, but equipment doesn't pay the mortgage. Are you excited for the next DLC for SnowRunner coming out on the 31st of May? I don't think so, because that's the one with the stupid time trial things, I think. Not actual new proper map content, so no. Yes, I've been sponsored by Asus since about 2013-ish, I think. 8-9 years, it's been a long run. Well, it does, I mean, indirectly, Captain Flint, but they tend to not send you things you need. They tend to send you things that they want you to make a video of, or want to get on your stream. Like, what a company's interested in is getting their equipment in front of people. So, you know, you might have a perfectly good keyboard, and they're like, well, we've got a new one. You don't need it. I don't know, Nimro, I don't know what the favourite year for videos and streaming was. No idea, mate. Not sure I have a favourite year. Man, this is a huge island. It's massive. It's like these little random towns down here in the middle of nowhere. Wonder if they even have internet. Yeah, I'm just going to be leaving. Wow, this is only like the width ways. It's actually very, very tall. That looks nominal, 25,000. That's fine. No, SLI has been mostly dropped by Nvidia. It's not a thing. Because it's a technical challenge and it brings too many problems with it. So, although it seems like a good way of doing things, like just have another card and have them talk to each other, the practical aspects of doing it when you're talking about gigahertz frequencies, very, very, very difficult to do. What was your first game you played and first system you used? The First game I played. Jeez, man. Probably the first... I can remember the first home computer game I played was... I don't even remember what it was called. It was like a brown coloured thing. It's about that big. And it had a spinny dial on each end. And the dial controlled... The graphics were a paddle on the screen this side, and a paddle on the screen this side, and a few pixel ball that just basically bounced. So you moved, with this wheel, you moved your paddle up and down. And it was like a very simple Pong. It wasn't an Atari. I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember the make of it. But that was the first home computer game I had in that sense. It was a very simple Pong, effectively, but it wasn't called Pong at the time. It was, I guess it was probably a rip-off Pong. I never owned an Atari 2600. My parents wouldn't buy one. Desperately wanted one, but a couple of my friends had the Atari 2600, so I used to play on that quite a lot. But the first computer I ever got was a ZX Spectrum. Is that an airfield though? It is an airfield though. Yeah, I never went down the Commodore route either. I went down the Atari route. So I had the Atari ST 512. My friend had a Commodore Amiga 500. And I used to play games that he couldn't play, and he had games that I couldn't play, and vice versa. Like Ports of Call was available on the Amiga, but not on the Atari ST, which just deeply annoyed me. I never touched a ZX81. I looked at it and I thought, there's no way. Even at my age, back then, I was like, I am not going near a ZX80 or a ZX81. That is disgusting. So I'll wait for the Spectrum. Thank you for 2 months jail. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Absolutely. Nice to see a retro stream. Well, there are people who do retro streams. There's entire retro YouTube channels as well. I've seen them where they take like an original ZX Spectrum and then they take it apart and then they replace the like the RF TV feed. They replace it with like a HDMI digital one. Things like that. Or they get like old Spectrums working again. Remember the Amiga, some games having 12 plus floppy disks. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, I remember when Office, I remember when Borland C++ came on about 9 or 10 floppy disks, and Office came on, it peaked at about 24 floppy disks, I remember just like the install. 24 floppy disks, and you have to sit there waiting for each one. And then they changed it to a 1 CD. And then that grew until it was multiple CDs, and then that became a DVD. So like storage media progressed at the same rate. Oh yeah, Chuck Yeager's Advanced Flight Sim. I remember that. I remember playing Chuck Yeager's Advanced Flight Sim, and back then thinking, who the heck is Chuck Yeager? Hey From, welcome to the stream. That's it, yeah, Captain Flint. If you had like 24 floppy disks and one of them became unreadable, so the first thing you did in the office, the first thing that we did, we had 24 floppy disks, and the first thing we did was make a backup of every one of them, just in case, and then we'd use the copies to install and keep the other set, because if one failed, you were in trouble. You couldn't do the install. Oh yeah, cleaning the mouse cleaning thing, the mouse ball before the lasers came out. That was horrible. Like you literally, there was people in the office who never used to clean their mouse, and you'd sort of pick the mouse up, you'd spin that little spin lock, take the ball out, and you'd be like pulling gunk out of it, going, "Have you seen this? This is why your mouse doesn't work." Remove the ball. Yeah, that was the other trick. Office prank. But do you remember, there was like, inside of the mechanism, you had a ball that you put in, and inside of the mechanism there was like a little wheel, like a couple of wheels and then a springy wheel, and you'd have to sit there with like a screwdriver or something, like something with a flat edge, because the wheel would build up like gunk on it, and you'd have to basically like knock it off the wheel and move the wheel around and just knock the gunk off and take it out the mouse. I think one of the first laser mice was Microsoft, if I remember. They came out with a mouse that didn't use a ball, and it was a complete revelation. You used to use a paperclip. I used to use a screwdriver usually. You know, optical converter. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think it was an optical reader. Yeah. And then you had a trackball. Microsoft had like a big trackball thing. You put your hand on it and spin the ball with your fingers, which was fine for day-to-day stuff. But my friend used to play Unreal Tournament with me, and he used the trackball, and I could never, ever play an FPS game with a trackball. I just couldn't do it. But then he could do things I couldn't. Like, he could spin that ball and just do like quick spins quicker than I could move a mouse. Have a look at the weather. T50 at 7. Oh, there's a bit of a variable wind going on here. A few clouds at 4800, 26 Celsius, no significant weather. It's looking pretty decent. We can definitely assume 2-4 for the runway. That's not going to change, I don't think. You miss Unreal Tournament 99, best community, will never get that back. Yeah, it was like before the generation of FPS players that we currently enjoy, wasn't it? And there was nowhere near as many cheats back then, like nowhere near. I used to love that frag gun. Remember the flat cannon? Used to shoot shards, and if you right click it did like a grenade launch. I used to love that gun. I think we decided on Z, if I remember. Can't remember why though. How long before the mouse becomes obsolete? I don't know if it will or not. It's kind of hard to predict. Definitely on a 2-4 left. Morris. Respawn was a few seconds, yeah. very true. Oh, that's more like it. Straight in on 2-4. Yeah, that's the approach I knew. No offense, but aren't you supposed to look forward and fly in a plane? Ibby, thank you for subbing. Oh, welcome, Ibby. What up? I've looked at the right airport. I was getting very confused then. Used to have a lot of the old chicken maps and killer bee maps from Unreal Tournament. Let's see. So that would be 058 reciprocal. That one way heading 420 feet, turn left. Climb to 3,000 feet, contact ATC. So 2,500 is our intercept at Bummy. Just here. The VOR is basically on 2-4 right by the look of it, so it is slightly displaced. But JOA is what should be programmed in. So iPower. Why has it got MHM plugged in but not get that punched in. Did I say 5.8 or 5.3? 5.8. So that's the track coming out. 2,500 feet we should be hitting a Bummy is what the plan said. This has got it down as 3,269 and hitting 2.5 at FF24, which it's recommended you come in at 2,500. I see Quake was a good game, but I still enjoyed Unreal Tournament more than Quake. But back then the world was split into, are you an Unreal Tournament or are you a Quake person? I was more of an Unreal Tournament. Putting us on a 3-degree glide coming down, it'll be fine. fuel prediction will be 59.9. Reverse, no brake. Absolutely loads of runway. $239 feet on the barrel. $250 at 7, 1007. Is it 26? 26 Celsius. That's all programmed in. Okay, we should be pretty much set up now. Top of descent's coming soon. Oh, I remember GameSpy, yeah. GameSpy was very useful back then. It let you find like players and servers and stuff as the internet was getting going. Sea of blue outside. How much harder would it be without Navigraph integration? It wouldn't be harder, it would just be... The whole point of the EFB is to stop you having to tab out back to your browser or run different apps. The departure calculator, which calculates your takeoff speeds, without that you'd either be guessing or you'd have to find another app on the internet to do it. You know, you can use SkyVector or whatever to plan your route, but what are you going to use to calculate your takeoff values based on the weight you've got? And the fact that it integrates and pulls it all into one tablet means I don't have to keep tabbing out, which is very, very handy. I think that's Menorca, possibly. Yeah. That's Menorca deadhead. See a larger field of view with your setup. Yeah, if you use like the whole screen you can see much wider. Yeah, I just wasn't paying attention, just shot past my top of descent. Just pull out some brakes. Get back on profile. Yeah, it was this week, Tom. No, two-tone. That's going to be in June. Got my medical in June as well. Yeah, I'm back on profile. RKR, thank you for 41 months. Between the 737 and the A320, I'm sold on this one. It's... If this hadn't come out, everybody would be flying the PMDG. That's a given. If you have a preference for Boeing, you're going to fly the PMDG. However, as a package, this is a nicer package. It does a lot of things to help you and just kind of makes it really enjoyable to fly. Thank you for 5 months, two-tone. Enjoying the professional 146 as well. Haven't tried it. I reckon the PMDG was slightly rushed out because they knew this was coming, and they knew that if this came out, it would hurt their sales. So I think they shoved that 737 through the door a little bit quicker than they would have normally done. Del Santo, thank you for 11 months. Good old Menorca. So many pretty things. The Microsoft Flight Sim and too few paydays. Paydays never come round quickly enough. Builds do. They come round pretty fast. Energy bills come around quick with playing Microsoft Flight Sim. Dude, just running a modern PC with like a 30 series graphics card and the prices of electricity being what they are now, you really start to notice it. Like, I installed a power meter on my PC and it's unbelievable. See if I can show you. To connect. I think I need to change Wi-Fi once. haven't connected to it for a while. Looks like it's having trouble connecting to it. I think it's pulling data, one sec. Right. You can see this. That basically shows you the energy usage on my PC. So you can see, like, the bar at the left side, it's about, what, 350 watts or something. And you can see when I've got it turned off. But if you don't turn this off, it will just cost you so much money. So at the moment it's not reading correct. It's saying like 8 watts, but that's not correct. That figure's not updated properly, but it kind of gives you an estimate of the cost at the bottom there. And it shows you what's going on, but I don't think it's updated properly. I literally haven't read the data off it for a while. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that. Right, so... if you read, can you read that? It shows you my current power draw. Yeah, that's the current power draw right now. And if I go back, you can see other stuff. So, kitchen, I can show you what my washing machine, tumble dryer, so I can say like washing machine like that, and it'll basically pull the data and give you a graph of the power draw. So I can basically see, this program's called Eve, but you need to have compatible power plugs. This particular ecosystem works very well on Apple. It integrates with Apple Home. Anyway, so I've got one of these plugs in my washing machine, in my dryer, washing machine, tumble dryer, and dishwasher, my PC, my son's PC, and can't remember where I put the other one. But basically, it sits there and tracks their energy usage and when they're drawing power. So I can see when they're on or off. I can see how much power they're drawing through the day on a bar chart. It will calculate, if I tell it how much my electricity is, it will calculate how much it's costing me per year. Things like that. So it's given me a lot of visibility on what's going on. Otherwise you sit there thinking, where's all my power going? What's costing me money here? And surprisingly, like, the washing machine doesn't take as much money as I thought it would. I've got a fairly modern washing machine, but because, I don't know, it just, like, the dishwasher takes way more power than the washing machine. But I did notice that the washing machine has vampire power, so it draws 6 watts constantly because it's a smart washer. But you can basically configure that to shut the plug off. So like overnight, it can just shut the plug off completely so it can't draw anything. And then turn it back on in the morning. So yeah, it's like, it's just giving you visibility. Yes, exactly, EV. I can tell you when his PC is on and off, but my son is in the States, so I'm hardly tracking him, am I? I don't do it for that reason. I want to see what the power draw is. And also because I told him to turn his PC off when he's not using it, so I wanted to make sure he was doing that. Which he is, to be fair. Right, we need to intercept, I think it was at 3,000. We need to start focusing now on what's going on. about 2,500 kilowatts a year. I don't know how you do that, bro. I use way more than that. I'm not sure it does slip. We have it on us. I need to check what setting the missus is using them. That might be the other thing. Well, I think you are right. It does have hotter water than a washing machine. So that definitely accounts for a lot of energy. No, I do not, Sniper. I have a video that shows you how I changed from flying to driving in the same rig. I wouldn't if I was you, Tom. You'd probably be scared to turn the top tub on if you put one of those plugs on though. The app is called Eve. You can get the plugs off Amazon. But like I say, it's more of an Apple ecosystem, that one. Official Mickelson, thank you for 42 months. Coming in on the arrival. Let's just have a look at the airport. So I'm not clueless. 24 left. Sierra 1 or Sierra 2, I'm not sure. And then we'll just pull up into one of these terminals here. Electric heating is very inefficient. It's funny you should say that. Because in this country, they're banning gas boilers. So from 2025 or 26, I can't remember, you won't be able to buy a gas heated boiler. You'll have to have an electric heated boiler. How does aircon conditioning compared to PC power draw? Don't know, Neil Caffrey, because I can't put a power plug on that because it's directly into the fuse box, so I don't know how much power it draws. They are fairly efficient, those things, though. And once a thing like that has got the room to temperature, it's not going to do a lot of work to keep it there. So I don't know, probably a couple of 100 watts, I would guess. But yeah, when I'm streaming, that PC's pulling not far off 600 watts. That aircon is probably pulling 150, 200, maybe more. Then you've got the lights. It's probably not far off a kilowatt being drawn into this office. Canada, a lot of your houses have electric heating or wood pellet heating. You're not allowed to burn things in this country. Maximum kilowatts allowed in your residence. What, in the whole house? I can't remember what the mains fuse is. I think it might be either 15 or 30 amps. Probably more than that. Times 240 volts. That's how much power you can get. I can't remember what the mains fuse is. I saw it once. It was about that big. It was like a giant thing. Yeah, my PC idles about 150, Captain Slappy. I think the latest generation of Intel, they draw insane amounts of power. Particularly when they're working. They're like 300 watt sockets, aren't they? Or something. Just for the CPU. And then you've got the graphics card on top, which can easily draw 300-400 watts.